trial or presidential pardon. What judicial future for Donald Trump? Once his term as president is over, Donald Trump could become the first American head of state to be held accountable for some of his acts in court, unless a presidential pardon is pronounced. By bowing to Joe Biden in the presidential election, Donald Trump lost much more than a ballot. His departure from the White House on January 20th also means the end of his presidential immunity, which has protected him for 4 years from all legal proceedings. Without this legal shield, a tornado of complaints, tax fraud, sexual harassment, could befall the deposed Republican president. Faced with this threat, the billionaire brandishes the possibility of granting himself a presidential pardon. "I have the absolute right to pardon myself," he wrote already in 2017. But can he really take action? It is far from certain. Estimates. Andy Sine, professor emeritus at the University of Paris-West Nanterre, contacted by France 24. For his part, Stéphane Drey, international lawyer at the bars of New York, Paris and the Supreme Court of the United States, considers the scenario possible until the last day of his mandate, like the grace that Bill Clinton had granted American businessman Mark Rich the last day of his tenure. A sign that he is comfortable with this prerogative, and that he intends to use it too. Donald Trump has planned, according to the American media, to pardon his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, who pleaded guilty in 2017 to lying to the FBI about his contacts with a Russian diplomat. A pardon granted by Donald Trump would remove this case from the jurisdiction of the courts, but will he go so far as to pardon himself? Pardoned by Mike Pence? If observers are divided, it is because there is no precedent in the history of the United States. The legal validity of such an act could be subject to the assessment of a court, or of the Supreme Court. Several jurists have argued that it is unconstitutional, arguing that no one can be judge and party at the same time, reports the British daily The Independent. However, Stéphane Drey believes that the highest court of the United States, composed of 6 conservative judges out of 9, could hardly go against the presidential pardon, which remains, according to him, a discretionary and sovereign right. At the same time, in Washington, political commentators are instead raising the possibility of Donald Trump resigning by January 20th to allow his vice president, Mike Pence, to act in the White House and use his powers to pardon him. Thus Richard Nixon avoided a trial in the Watergate scandal in 1974 by obtaining, after his resignation, the pardon of his successor and former Vice President Gerald Ford. But it seems that Mike Pence is not in favor, says Stéphane Drey. Tax fraud. Be that as it may, the presidential pardon would only absolve him of federal crimes, specifies Andy Sine, author of The United States and Democracy, ed. Armaton. Judicial proceedings carried out at the level of each state may not be subject to any amnesty. This is the case with the criminal investigation, initiated by New York Attorney General Cyrus Vance Jr., tasked with determining whether Donald Trump and his company have engaged in banking, tax and insurance fraud. At present, the billionaire's lawyers are maneuvering with justice to avoid revealing 8 years of accounting records, on the grounds of causing irreparable harm to the president and his relatives. If charged and convicted, the outgoing president could be sentenced to prison. Scandale sexuel. Une autre affaire conduite par Cyrus Vance pourrait assigner Donald Trump les versements d'argent depuis les fonds de son entreprise à des femmes pour ne pas abrutir ses relations extraconjugales juste avant l'élection de 2016. Ces accusations ont déjà placé son ancien avocat Michael Cohen derrière les barreaux. Ces derniers reconnu avoir versé $130,000 à l'ex-actrice pornographique Stormy Daniels contre son silence. Plusieurs autres femmes sont concernées par ces transactions financières. Par ailleurs, plusieurs dizaines de femmes l'accusent d'agression sexuelle et un certain nombre d'entre elles ont porté plainte. L'une d'elles, la journaliste Elizabeth Jean Carroll, affirme avoir été violée dans un magazine de luxe à New York, au milieu des années 1990. Une accusation réfutée avec mépris par le président, elle n'est pas mon type, il déclare. Actuellement, il est toujours poursuivi en justice par la journaliste pour diffamation à ce sujet. Summer Zervos, ancien candidat de l'émission de télé-réalité The Apprentice, a aussi enclenché une procédure similaire, en 2017. D'autres plaintes pourraient réagir puisque dans certains états, la prescription n'est pas de rigueur précise. Stéphane Drey. Endurance russe. Autre dossier sensible qui attend le président sortant, l'affaire de l'ingérence russe lors de l'élection présidentielle de 2016. Si elle est au point mort depuis la publication du rapport de l'avocat spécial Robert Mueller en avril 2019, qui concluait à une collusion sans apporter de preuves complètes. Le Congrès pourrait se pencher de nouveau sur le dossier après le 20 janvier. À l'époque du rapport, Un milliard de procureurs fédéraux avaient conjointement écrit dans Politico quitter ses fonctions ni l'exonérer pas de ses responsabilités. Même citoyen, Donald Trump devrait encore faire parler de lui.